Who am I but an orphan? The way I see God is distorted. In my life, who supports? Who am I? I'll break down, don't even bother, cuz I'm awake now because the Father does. And it's obvious that I'm confused, cuz I get this less than my daughter does. She knows what daddy and mommy does.
How you guys doing today? You are tuned into Fatherhood, presented to you by About This Love podcast. And I am your host, Dale Skinner, coming at you from the Baltimore, Maryland area. Me and my wife have a podcast called About This Love that we talk about relationships and just how to strengthen them, talk a lot about our relationship. But today, I actually wanted to do another audio short or a podcast short on fatherhood. I know what gave me the idea is you know how you watch Disney Plus. If you guys have Disney Plus, they have like movies like they call it like a short. It might be a 9-minute or a 6-minute movie. That's what gave me the idea. This is kind of like a podcast short or audio short. And what really made me want to do the audio short is talking about fatherhood. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because I'm older now. I have children. For many of you who follow me and my wife's About This Love podcast, you know that we just had our third child this March. So as I get older and have more children, I really begin to think about how different my children's lives will be versus mine, versus how mine was growing up. And I begin to see, like even in my 8-year-old son, I begin to see a lot of things that I struggled with at his age that he doesn't have to struggle with because I didn't have a father. So the audio short fatherhood it's really what I'm going to be doing, or what my intentions is really to bring to light fatherhood and really just present it in a positive light. I'm also going to be giving statistics on our next episode. I'm going to be giving statistics. I was researching fatherhood and fatherlessness in America, and just the research that I found was pretty incredible, very very informative. So I wanted to share that on the next on episode 2. But today's episode, I just wanted to just give an introduction of myself. And I do want to say, if you're wondering how long these audio shorts are going to be, I want to keep them under 10 minutes, 10 minutes or under. That's my intentions. We're going to try my best to do that. And so it's not something that, if you come across it, you're going to be take 30 or 45 minutes of your day. No, not at all. So all I ask for is 10 minutes, and you can find this audio short and our podcast About This Love anywhere where podcasts can be found. We have a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and we put it on all platforms. So in all major podcast platforms as well. So if you're on any kind of podcast platforms, just look for us, and you'll definitely find it. So without further ado, let me get it cracking. 3 minutes into it, right? But one of the things that I think about a lot now that I have children, as I said before, is just how their life will be much more different from mine. And then I think about my own life and a lot of the challenges that I had to face because I didn't have a father, or I had a father, but he was always in and out of prison, and he wasn't really, even when he was home, he wasn't really home too often. And over the years, as I look at my children, I just think to myself, wow, a lot of the things that I went through, they'll never have to go through. And I'm just talking about the things as it specifically relates to like just being fatherless. You know what I'm saying? Like not having a father, and like I said, on the next episode, we're gonna dive into some statistics and information, that I found regarding fatherlessness in America. It really, really, really is interesting. But I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to tell a story that I want to just made me really think about fatherhood. A couple years ago, me and my wife were having a really, really hard time, in our marriage. Really, really dark time. Looking back now, It wasn't really as bad as I made it, as we thought it was. But I think sometimes when you're in your feelings and your emotions, things seem kind of worse than what they are, or better than what they are. And then when you look back in hindsight, it wasn't really that bad. I was just kind of being a little immature. I was being a little stubborn. But I remember I was in my studio, as I am now. I was in my studio. I'm doing something on my computer, and the thought crossed my head. I could just leave right now. You know what I'm saying? Like just say forget it. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I was upset. I was in my feelings. We had just been going through a really, really, really difficult time in our marriage. And at that time, we only had 2 kids. No, I'm lying. We only had 1 kid. I'm lying because my daughter was born last year. So yeah, 2. We've had a kid each year now since last year. So, but I had the thought cross my mind. I could just leave right now. And when I did, the Lord kind of flashed before me my son and my wife, and what could potentially happen to them without me being in the household. And at that moment when the Lord did that, I repented, and I, told the Lord, I'm sorry. And I eventually ended up, me and my wife ended up mending things. And I told her, the thought I had and what the Lord showed me. But what the Lord showed me was that a life without the presence of a father, it's very detrimental to the child. And oftentimes I feel like as men, we don't really think about that. And I'm saying that from the perspective of, before you decide to lay with a woman and put your seed inside of her out of a night of pleasure, it's so many things that kind of transpire after the fact that we never even think about or never even cross our mind. And, the mentality of a lot of men out there, I probably won't see her again, or I ain't gonna see the kids, so it doesn't matter anyways. And while that may be partially true, the other downside to that is that you potentially bring a child into a situation or into the world, and you could potentially bring them into a situation that's chaotic, or that could be detrimental to their mental health, and to their psychological health. And so when the Lord showed me that, and just give you guys a background, again, if you guys follow me and my wife's podcast, then you know that we have a blended family, meaning that my wife, when I married my wife, when I met my wife, she already had a son. He's like 2 years old. He's 8 years old now. So my son, even now as he's gotten older, I've watched our relationship shift more so, because now me and my wife have 2 kids, and they're by me. You know what I'm saying? So my son, and I want to put that out there. I call him my son. I don't call him my stepson. And I just tell people I don't like that. I don't like that step, kid or step. I don't like that. That's not, and I don't like it because, to me, I don't want my son to feel like he doesn't belong to me because he doesn't come from me. And him and I had a conversation about that a couple weeks ago. I was like, hey, listen, I know you don't come from me, but just know that I chose you, and I love you. If you want to call me dad, you can call me dad. If you don't, that's fine. And he calls me Dale, but sometimes he does call me dad. But I think the dynamic in that is that as I watch my kids begin to get older and call me dad, he's like, oh, so that's their dad, or that's our dad. That's our dad. So that's really what made me want to do the audio short, Fatherhood. It's just like coming to a place in my life where I'm mature, I'm having kids, I'm beginning to be cognizant, because I care about what happens to these children's lives. And I will live my life and risk my life to make sure that the outcome of their life was better than mine's, because I know what it means, or know what it feels like not to have a father. I know what it feels like to wonder if your father cares about you. If does he even like you? Does he want to be around you? Like I know how that feels. And on the next episode, as you'll see in the next episode, these things begin to affect the child. In a lot of the statistics said these things even affect them even into adulthood, which many of us already know. Like, that's not something we don't already know. Many of us know that already. So it's nothing new. So again, thank you for tuning into the intro episode for the fatherhood. On the next episode, we're going to dive into some statistics, and I'm going to read from off the website and also put it in the description on the next episode. So thank you for tuning in. Please again tune in to next week's episode. Until next time, peace.
I must seek the Father, he has to know. But how he speaks is what I'm after, though. Through men who represent his character and reflect his nature, accurate. A son of the Father I have to be, and return to my family's tapestry. Who am I but an orphan? In my life